Disturbing comments made by YouTube troll Mouse raise alarms in online community. An individual known as Mouse, a YouTube troll who claims to operate 127 separate accounts, is facing significant backlash after purportedly making deeply troubling statements on public forums. Mouse, who has confessed to being associated with an online figure known as Hind, an individual accused of promoting content with paedophilic overtones, has been accused of further fueling harmful rhetoric and hypocrisy. The comments, attributed to Mouse, suggest that child-adult relationships are not inherently damaging, contradicting established psychological research and promoting dangerous myths. With therapy, it is not all that difficult for a child to get over having a love affair with an adult, the statement read, downplaying the well-documented traumatic impact such abuse has on victims. Mouse's argument included an outdated saying, "Once she can bleed, she can breed," which has been widely rejected as harmful rhetoric that attempts to justify the exploitation of minors. This revelation is particularly alarming given Mouse's history as the first to point fingers, often accusing others of being pedophiles. This tactic of projecting onto others while promoting damaging views is a known deflection strategy, further complicating the online environment where genuine concerns about child safety and exploitation are prevalent. Connections to Hind and the online community's response. Mouse's connection to Hind, who has been noted for controversial and disturbing content, casts a shadow on the credibility of both figures. Hind's online presence has been scrutinized, with observers citing behavior and statements that suggest paedophilic tendencies. This affiliation raises questions about the nature of Mouse's motivations and the broader network of online individuals who participate in harmful dialogues under the guise of anonymity. The online community has responded with outrage. Many users have called for greater scrutiny of platforms like YouTube, emphasizing the need for robust moderation and reporting mechanisms to prevent the spread of such rhetoric. The case of Mouse serves as a stark reminder of the complexities and risks associated with anonymous interactions in digital spaces, the impact on survivors, and the need for education. Statements like those attributed to Mouse are not just shocking, they are dangerous. Experts underscore that such messages minimize the severe, lifelong impact of child sexual abuse. Dr. Jane Roberts, a clinical psychologist specializing in trauma, noted, comments like these perpetuate harmful myths that undermine the experiences of survivors and the extensive body of evidence that proves the devastating effects of such exploitation. Research supports that children, regardless of perceived consent, lack the cognitive maturity to enter relationships with adults. The imbalance of power and understanding leaves them susceptible to manipulation and harm. Survivors often face a lifetime of challenges, including post-traumatic stress, depression, and difficulties forming healthy relationships. Conclusion. The statements attributed to Mouse and his connections to figures like Hind raise essential questions about accountability in digital spaces. The incident highlights the importance of community awareness, robust content moderation, and legal measures to protect vulnerable individuals from predatory behavior and rhetoric. Online platforms must prioritize safety, ensuring that harmful myths and damaging narratives do not go unchecked. The statement Mouse shared is deeply problematic and contains harmful myths. Here's a fact-based response to address these misconceptions. Informed consent and child development. Children cannot legally or developmentally give informed consent to relationships with adults. Their cognitive and emotional development is not mature enough to comprehend the long-term consequences of such interactions, making them vulnerable to exploitation and manipulation. Trauma and lasting effects. Research has repeatedly shown that sexual abuse, even when not physically forced, has profound and often lifelong negative psychological, emotional, and social effects on children. Survivors frequently deal with trust issues, anxiety, depression, and other mental health challenges well into adulthood. This is true even in cases where children may initially seem compliant, as the imbalance of power and understanding creates inherent harm. The misuse of sayings and biological arguments, phrases like, "Once she can bleed, she can breed," are used to justify exploitation and are based on outdated and harmful views. Just because a person has reached physical maturity, i.e., puberty, does not mean they are emotionally or mentally equipped for relationships with adults. Modern societies have laws to protect minors precisely because of the significant differences in power and maturity between children and adults. The protection of children is paramount, and minimizing or romanticizing these interactions is dangerous and perpetuates harm. The goal of laws and education is to create a safe environment where children can grow and develop without exploitation.